am a Brexiteer. I voted no. I didn't want to stay with the EU, so I didn't vote for a deal. I voted to leave. I understand that when the Remainers stood up and voiced Cameron, etc., it was all about GDP. That was all it was about. There was nothing about the country and people's feelings.
No, there was loads about what the economic impact would be on each individual family, wasn't there? So no, Clint, I'm happy to listen to you, but if you say something that's not true, my job is to stop you and correct you. There was an awful lot from Mark Carney, from George Osborne, from David Cameron, from lots of other Leave campaigners explaining what the economic impact would be personally, explaining the possibility of factories closing, explaining what the actual sum of money reduced from each individual family budget would be. So there was also talk about GDP, but what you just said isn't true.
I understand that,
Good.
but obviously it was all speculative. But the reality is that's not really why I'm calling. The situation
then why not start with the reason why you are calling instead of starting with the reason why you're not calling, being corrected, and then somehow trying to gloss over the mistake that you just made?
Well, I don't feel I have made a mistake.
Okay, so I'll say it again. Frequently, throughout the referendum campaign, people were told about prices going up in shops, about a reduction in their personal expenditure capabilities, about the precise sum of money which each family could potentially lose. That is not GDP, that is personal budgetary explanation. So when you said it was all about GDP and they never mentioned anything else, you were just wrong, my friend. So let's scratch that and start again.
Distinguishing between GDP, it was never about how people they can't get into doctors, dentists, all those other things.
No, that's immigration. That's nothing to do with economics.
Okay, if I can get to the point of why I'm calling, because I've said we are where we are.
Yes.
From what I can understand, the big problem is the backstop. Now, the dangers are, according to what we're understanding on the media, is that we could be caught and the EU are going to control exactly when we can possibly leave that.
No, the arrangement is, and I completely sympathise with your failure to understand this because you're having all sorts of nonsense poured into your ears by all sorts of people. There is a group of Brexiteers, as you like to call yourself, who claim that it's really, really easy to solve the problem of the Irish border, but they are simultaneously furious about the suggestion that we can't fully cut our ties with the European Union until that solution to the Irish border has been put in place. So the people you're in bed with are arguing on the one hand that it's really, really easy to do it, and on the other hand that we can't have doing it as a condition of leaving. So there is a contradiction there that I hope now I've explained it, Clint, you can see very clearly.
Yeah, for sure. I'm not...
Well, tell me what I just said, Clint.
100% it's not easy.
Clint, tell me what I just said.
Okay, well, can I just suggest...
No, because I'm not sure you're listening. And if you're not listening to what I'm saying, this isn't a conversation. So what did I just say about the...
You're saying that the Brexiteers, which I believe I am one of them, think it's very, very simple to solve.
No, they don't think it is. They know it isn't. They're lying and saying that it's very simple to solve.
Well, obviously, that's your opinion. No, I accept
okay, so
that.
what's the simple solution then?
What I'm suggesting or asking whether it is feasible is that if both the EU and the UK were to put down their criteria required for the backstop to...
No, it doesn't work like that. The criteria required for the backstop to finish is regulatory alignment on both sides of the Irish border, as enshrined in the Good Friday Agreement,
which can't be,
which is already written down. Which is it can be achieved at the moment, according to the people you support. But they just won't tell you how it can be achieved, and they'll say we can't possibly sign up to something that requires it to be achieved, even though it's really easy to achieve it. Do you not feel yet, during this conversation, that you've been mugged?
No, I don't.
Okay, so the solution is simple, but they don't know what it is. Well, it has to be in place before we can leave, and they're objecting to the idea that it has to be in place before we can leave, despite... No, here we go. This is why I wanted you to repeat back to me what I've said, because now you're just doing platitudes. I've explained to you what's going on.
I mean, the thing is, it is a phone-in show, and all I'm asking is to be heard.
No, Clint, you phoned in and said one thing. I pointed out it was wrong. You said that wasn't why you phoned in. You said something else. I've pointed out why it was wrong, and now you're insisting on being heard. So you carry on. Fill your boots.
Who I was and what I believe.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter whether you believe it or not if I can prove that it's not true, Clint.
That disagree with the deal that Theresa May is trying to put this country in. Okay?
Yes, but all they've got, Clint, is the idea... Clint, you keep talking, mate.
Could be oversee the situation, but then nobody would change it for their own advantage.
You mean a supranational institution like the European Court of Justice, for example?
No, an independent. A country, maybe to put it to a country like Canada.
Right, so we take back control by putting Canada in charge of Brexit.
What, I'm not saying that. That isn't what I said.
What did you
said
say
the
then, Clint?
backstop.
Because those are the words I heard.
No, well, if you can listen.
Yes, I am listening,
I
Clint.
said the backstop seems to be the problem. I accept...
The problem with what, Clint?
Theresa May has done a deal, but the problem seems
Clint.
to be from both parties...
I tell you what, mate, you are not making my day.
The problem.
Yes.
Because obviously, you believe what you believe. But
No. Belief plays no part. Belief plays no part in my position, Clint. This is where you and I diverge, you see. You ring me up and you tell me that the backstop is the problem and that Canada should somehow be in charge of overseeing it. I say to you, so you want Canada to be in charge of Brexit. You say, no, I never said that. Then you tell me that you believe there's something better out there. I explain to you why there isn't. You say, well, I believe there is, but I can't tell you what it is. And then you say, well, you believe something different. And I now say to you, I don't believe something different. I understand the facts of the matter. You believe that they're not facts. And I wonder what it would take for you to recognise that your beliefs are bogus. And I suspect there's nothing at all that could do that, Clint.
Yours are.
What?
I believe yours are.
Yes, but I've just explained why they're not, with reference to the treaty, the Good Friday Agreement, with reference to the enshrined necessity of regulatory alignment, with the observation that this supranational body that you want to preside over Brexit would not involve taking back control, it would involve giving it to a third party. You suggested Canada, I suggested the European Court of Justice. Every single thing I've said is a recorded, demonstrable fact, and all you keep saying to me is, I believe that you're wrong. The bottom line, my friend, is that I'm not.